Back at the Pamplin Sports Center, where tonight the Northwest Conference Tournament Championship goes to the George Fox Bruins as a #2 seed upsets #1 76-68 in overtime. And Lewis and Clark will now have to wait until Monday to see if they will be part of the NCAA tournament for the first time. It was a contest between #1 and #2 that went back and forth the entire time. And Lewis and Clark at one point looked in good control toward the end of the second half in a game that in the first half was exchanging baskets. Second half was a little bit of game of mini runs. No one really led at any point by more than 5 points until the overtime period. But when it was all said and done, George Fox comes away victorious. And when you look at the stats from this game, it's something that you kind of get a feel for why George Fox was able to pull away, shooting the basketball as well as the Bruins were able to do. They were able to put 57% of their shots into the hoop, only 32% from the field goal range for Lewis and Clark tonight, 32%, and 10 of 28 from three-point range, though 2 of 9 in the overtime period. Lewis and Clark was behind early in OT trying to catch back up. The Pios did not do as great a job on the boards as they normally do either, being out-rebounded by 10, and Lewis and Clark led all Northwest Conference teams in rebounding margin this season, was one of the tops in the nation, and tonight we're out-rebounded by George Fox, but 57% was nearly 12 better than the percentage on the average for George Fox throughout the 2010-2011 season. So you can kind of see that's one reason why George Fox is able to win tonight. The other being that Lewis and Clark only had scoring from 5 players, 3 of which were in double figures, the other 2 combined for a total of 10. It was 23 points from Margaret Dowling. Marge played very well tonight. She finishes 7 of 12 from the floor, was 3 of 4 early from three-point range, but does have a double-double, 23 to 13. Left briefly with an injury after hitting her head, but she came back into the game and looked to be okay. 18 points from Christina Herring. She was able to put in a final three-pointer at the end of overtime when the game was out of hand and made it so that Lewis and Clark wasn't just 1 of 7 from three-point range. They finished 2 of 9, so weren't 1 for 8 from three-point range. And 17 for Christina Williams, as Christina does a nice job rebounding from her semi-final performance that's not up to Christina Williams' standards. She finishes 17 points. Villanueva and Sarah had 9 tonight and a point from Taylor Wang off the bench. George Fox led by 17 from Hannah Munger, a very tough 6'5" sophomore who's going to get just better as she goes along. 17 points tonight, 14 rebounds, a double-double for her as well. 13 coming from Keisha Gordon, who left in midway through the second half with an ankle injury, and 10 points apiece from Haley Kusick, a starter, and Carrie Myers off the bench. So a 76-68 defeat for the Pios. #1 seed goes down at home, but still a chance, as Monday is the selection show, ncaa.com, starting at 11 o'clock. Lewis and Clark could be the potential at-large bid from the West region. One of them, I should say. You never know what can happen, but George Fox gets the tournament championship, their 4th in 5 years, and is the automatic qualifier with the overtime win tonight in Pamplin. So for everyone who made it possible on the broadcast crew, and for everyone who watched, whether you're at Palatine Hill, in Newburgh, or beyond, we really appreciate you joining us for PioStream, and hopefully won't be our final basketball broadcast before we start baseball and softball in the spring. We might be at an NCAA tournament game a week from now. For everyone on the crew, I'm Ryan Goff saying thanks for having fun with us tonight, and we'll talk to you again real soon from Pamplin on the campus of Lewis and Clark College.